let me introduce our next speaker. So, Scott Rowe. Gosh, what can we say about Scott? You know, he is the lead sled dog on this team. Scott's one of the top income earners in Renatus. He's had incredible results on the marketing plan and as well incredible results with the real estate. He's over 130 rental properties right now. So he's had an incredible amount of success, and he is one of my mentors, one of all of our mentors here on the staff, and someone that we all look up to and respect. And he's definitely one of the top leaders that I've worked with in my professional and now business career. So without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Scott Rowe.
What's up, Mike? How are you? You know what I love about this whole thing is I really don't even need to be here. This is awesome. Like, you're so good at this. Dude, man, I remember when you were on this webinar, and now look at you. It's awesome. All right, folks, welcome. Can you guys hear me? No problem? Big tech check here. Am I moving okay in the camera? All good? All right, great. All right, guys, let me, first of all, tell you why I'm qualified to go over this. I'm going to share my screen real quick here. Hopefully you guys can see it. I currently have 129 doors that pay me rent, and when I came down here, I was broke and unemployed. So I had lost my job. It was rough, dude. We almost got divorced. It was crazy. But today, my wife and I, we have 95 single-family homes. We have a 22-unit building. We have 2 6-unit buildings. You're currently seeing pictures of properties that we control in the 95 property portfolio right here. So I'm just establishing that, hey, this guy going over the education, this is a guy that used the education. So what I'm about to cover has been used to do lots of deals. Here is the value of that stuff. So these are, you see all the addresses here, right? See these addresses on here? So this is the accumulation of all that property. Cool. And so if we look at the valuation here, it's at 4.4 mil. The gross revenues coming in is $506,000, and they're not big properties, right? Like, check out the values of these things. This is something you guys can do. $20,000 approximate value, $33,000 approximate. This is in small town Illinois here, right, where we control these properties. So 24,000, 29,000, 32,000. These are little bitty, easy do deals, right? So that's $4 million, $4.4 million worth of properties. It's a cash flow. It's a gross cash flow of $506,000 a year, right? And here is the P&L report on that. So that's gross. The P&L report last year on that was $141,000 net. So that's what we get to keep on the properties. And my wife and I are just doing buy and holds these days. That's it. So I'm not in the wholesaling realm anymore. I'm not in the fix and flip realm anymore. I'm just doing buy and holds or notes. That's it. Okay. When you have enough money coming in, then you want to deal with less bull crap. Does that make sense, guys? Or you want to spend more time with your family. Wholesaling and fix and flip, you actually spend a lot of time, at work, working on properties. Cool. So hopefully, did you guys get a chance to see that? Did that show up all right? Donna, give me some indication that you guys that translated well. Okay, so that all translated well. All right. Okay, cool. So the goal here today is to get you guys to understand how did this education get you from being broke and unemployed, Scott Rowe, to having the kind of liquidity that you have today. And the answer is, A, I started making money with this group right away in the section that Mike's going to go over. And then B, it gave me the opportunity to actually do real estate 3 days a week. So 3 days a week I did marketing to make money because I needed to feed my family. And then 3 days a week I took my classes. And then 3 days a week I did marketing. And then 3 days a week I took my classes. Then 3 days a week I did marketing. Then 3 days a week I did my classes. And then eventually, the 3 days a week I did my marketing. And then that first Thursday I was out looking at properties, right? So you have to understand that you're not going to turn over a real estate deal next week if you've never done one. Cool. This is not going to happen. But we do have a way for you to get checks next week. And then Mike's going to cover that next, which I think is very important to really having a robust real estate investing career. All right. I am going to do something completely different today. So staffers, you're going to pay attention to this. And you guys will be like, uh-oh, Scooty's thinking. All right. I'm going to cover I saw one of my colleagues here last night go over something I thought was really well done, and I said, I'm going to bring it to the game today and see how you guys are all the guinea pigs in this. So let me give you a sense of the plan that you're going to execute when you start with us. The first thing in this education is going to be your tax mitigation. That's the first thing you're going to do. You already are paying taxes. How can we get that tax burden from 33% on an average down to 7.5% like I'm paying? Okay, so we're going to take your existing cost in life, and there's actually 2 classes that you're going to take that are going to take care of that, and they are in the essentials. Okay, so inside the essentials classes, you're going to take 2 classes called Tax and Legal 1 and Tax and Legal 2. You will be blown away by how well those classes are like a recipe book that you just follow. The minutia and the jungle of taxes is, when you get into it, you're going to go from caveman to sophistication just a little bit more. In fact, I have actually, I've had naysayers that I brought my laptop to. I'm like, listen to me. I know you're kind of questioning what I'm doing, right? I'm like, listen, let me just show you 40 minutes of one of my classes. That's it. And what I do is I actually open up section 2 right here of my tax and legal class. So you're about to see the class go on right here. So you're seeing it in my screen right now. I go down to section, I can't grab it for some reason. Okay, there we go. So, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to go down to section 6, how to pay your children. Because, think about this. If you don't have kids already, you're gonna someday, if you want to feel like you have purpose, right? Like, it's cool because you're like, maybe I'll have a kid, right? And you'll have a child show up in your life, and you're going to be able to pay that child. Right? As soon as they can start walking, you can start paying them for doing stuff, okay? So you're going to be able to pay that child. And you will, if you understand this, and let's say you haven't had a child yet, when you understand this, your children are going to pay for their own hot lunches. Your children are going to pay for their own trumpet lessons. Your children are going to pay for their own trips to the water park with their friends because you're going to be paying them. Right? And you're going to create a complete tax deduction on everything that you normally pay the water park, right? And you can't write that off because it's personal. No. From now on, you're going to start funneling money into your kids differently so you can write it all off through your corporate stuff. So the simple stuff like tax mitigation, some people are like, I want to do some real estate. Yeah, but you know what? You know how much money you're wasting giving it to the government, not knowing why you're giving it to the government or how it can be mitigated? So important. So those 2 classes right there inside the essentials, there's 10 classes in the essentials. These are your freshman, sophomore level classes. These are going to help you. Okay? Now, let's move on to the next thing. So tax mitigation will be the first thing. Then we're going to get into financial literacy. I'm going to say this with all the love in the world, literacy. The financial literacy that you're going to go through, and it's evident on this webinar right now when somebody says, what if none of those options work for me? And it's funny because we've already told you that there's guaranteed financing, right? There's guaranteed financing, and then you said, I don't get it. None of it works for me because you're in a drama brain. Like, oh my gosh. But if you understood what Jaleesa was talking about, if you really understood it, you understand that a lot of people are afraid of credit card, like, I don't want to do credit card debt. Yeah, but if it's 0% interest, then somebody's giving you money for free, right? And knowing how to use that next is for free. Financial literacy is how to use your credit and make lots of money on it. So I've actually done deals where I've had a credit partner and I've just simply walked up to them and said, look, Uncle Joe, how would you like to are you getting paid on your credit right now? Like, you have a great credit score. Is somebody paying you every single month because you got great credit? And they're like, and this is the face I get from a guy who's 60 years old. No, come on, right? Like, his whole life, he's never understood how to use his credit to make income on a monthly basis. I'm like, well, I've got a 6-unit building. If you're the credit partner, I'm actually going to make you worth $50,000 more in the equity, and I'm going to get you $500 a month. I learned that stuff by taking classes in financial literacy. So the classes that you're going to take to become more financially literate before you do a real estate deal, so you sound smarter at a table when you're actually raising funds and stuff, is going to be this. So watch this. So the classes that you're going to take for that is you're going to take, hold on a second, you're going to take your IRA classes, your self-directed retirement classes. Everybody in the world wants to retire. So once again, everybody's paying taxes, so you better take some classes on it. Everybody in the world, including you, wants to retire. Are you doing it as powerfully as you could, or are your friends and family doing it as powerfully as they could? Because when you know more about retirement plans than everybody else in your family, they will start throwing money at you. I know because I've experienced it, and I didn't experience it when I was broke and unemployed. I experienced it after I took an 8-hour class, and I started having conversations about IRAs, Roth IRAs, 401ks, health savings accounts. They're like, you can really, so they drew them in, like, you can really do that? So the more you understand about how to change your situations, and when you start talking about your kids, see, you have brothers and sisters in your life, and they all have kids. Right? They're called cousins of your kids. So, and they're all proud of their kids until you start talking about, when you start talking about your kids owning a 6-unit building, then your brothers and sisters are like, how's that possible? Come on. Right? So you're going to start drawing things into you to get your real estate, I'm telling you. This is my conversations became different because of the education. So I started drawing the resources I needed into me. Okay, all right. So then you have credit management as part of financial literacy. What you don't know about credit would surprise you. What you don't know about the credit reporting companies who actually dictate what your credit score is will surprise you. The way that you can handle them will surprise you. You didn't know you could handle your own credit, did you? You didn't know you could manhandle those individuals. Well, you're going to be able to do that. Okay, and then finally, the mortgage acceleration. One of the most powerful classes in the essentials is the mortgage acceleration. How many folks out there are paying a mortgage? Do you realize that only 1% of America actually ends up paying off their mortgage? Do you realize that they're refinancing off after 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And when they do that, they move the line of mortgage to pure profit again. Let me tell you something. You take that class, you're going to end up with spreadsheets and possible software that can help you do this. With the same amount of money you currently make, you will pay off a mortgage in 8 years using that class. So you're going to start paying the mortgage off from the back side of the loan instead of the front side where the banks want you to. Or the bank could teach you how to do it, but if they taught you in the basement of their bank, they wouldn't make as much money. So you're going to learn the secret that nobody wants you to know. And I'm talking about the banks, the corporations, the governments, about mortgages, about how they work. You want to learn how these things work so that when you know, you're like, so I have been being duped by banks my whole life. See, understanding financial literacy is very, very important to actually having fantastic finances. Okay? All right, then we're going to start breaking into strategic planning. Okay, so let me bring this up. So hopefully you're writing this down because this is going to be the plan for you if you decide to take these classes. Third, and listen, the reason this education was put together through 100 level classes to 400 level classes instead of a 3-day seminar at a hotel is because you can't get much out of 3 days. You have to get lifetime access to this thing so you can keep plugging in when economies change. That's what you get with Renatus. So the third thing you're going to have to go over is strategy. Okay? Your plan and preparation is going to be uber important to you actually doing things, and you're going to mitigate risk. Okay? So here's the classes you're going to take. You're going to take inside the essentials classes. We're just talking about the essentials here right now, right? We're talking about real estate essentials. If you don't know how transactions work, you're going to be lost in the transacting of them. But what's happening? What's happening? You don't want to be that person. What you want to be is very educated. Now, I caught up to realtors. The realtors, they understand how transactions work. They just step outside. Realtors are representing people, right? They only get to make the commissions, and then they have to go back to work the next day to get another commission, right? But they do understand the transactional side of things. Cool? So I caught up to the realtors and what they understood, and I understood the language in my real estate essentials. So 1 8-hour class, I knew what realtors knew. Right, so I could actually play at the closing table. Got it? Real estate marketing. So this is part of your planning. How am I going to have resources finding me? How am I going to have money, deals, buyers, professionals finding me? That's all real estate marketing. Like you're going to sit there through guerrilla marketing or social media tactics and have individuals finding you. Okay? Now, tax and legal strategies 1 and 2 will be a big part of your planning as well because you're going to have to set up entities. I don't get paid money anymore. There's a reason I don't get paid any money anymore. In my name, I don't make a dime anymore, right? And I was at the burrito joint last night, and I had an Amway guy come up to you and go, "Hey, you guys sound like you're talking about some high level stuff because we were talking real estate. Would you be interested in a business opportunity?" I'm like, "What do you do?" He goes, "Well, I help people start businesses." I'm like, "I got 6." I'm like, "How's your business set up?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, did you start with an S corp? Did you own an LLC then? I mean, where's your assets at?" He goes, "Oh, you don't need to own a business. You don't need to do that to own a business." I'm like, "Well, you're going to get hammered in taxes. I mean, do you understand your tax strategies?" I'm going to go meet my friends over here. So the problem is that most of the folks have caveman conversations, right? And I'm having these sophisticated conversations because I understand why I use an S corp to own everything else. Right? Why is it that I don't use my social anymore and I use my EIN number and my S corp to make any kind of dollar whatsoever? So you're going to set yourselves up to make sure that you're legally protected and legally not paying the kind of taxes that you want to pay, and all set up that way. All right? Now, do you want to do wholesaling? Do you want to do fix and flips? Do you need to do wholesaling because you got no money or credit? So these are strategic planning. Okay. The fourth thing is transactional. And now, let me tell you something. You guys are like, "Wow, this is a lot." I finished my essentials in 3 weeks. All right, I was taking one class every single day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I finished my essentials in 3 weeks. Okay, so transactional. You're going to have to go through. You're going to have to learn transactional work. Okay, so what does that mean? What do I need to learn? Okay, so let's talk about acquiring properties. Your transactionals. It's not controlling the deal yet. It's actually just working with a seller or a buyer in transaction. So what kind of classes do I need to take to work on my transactional stuff? Now you're going to start stepping out of the essentials, which is your freshman, sophomore level classes, and you're going to start stepping into the exits and the payoffs, okay, section of stuff, right? The first class that's going to help you out with your transactional stuff is your creative acquisitions. So your creative acquisitions is actually going to teach you how to acquire properties without using money or credit. Okay, how can I use contracts to do that, right? So you're going to learn, oh, I get it. So they'll give you more concepts like, oh, I get how I can transact deals without money or credit. They've always talked about it. I just didn't understand it. Well, in 8 hours you will. Real estate red flags. What should you run from in transaction? Who should you run from? What should you run from? How should you run from them? That's transactional work right there. I'm actually showing you my back office, so I'm live right now. The other thing is deal of the decade. Where's that at? Deal of the decade, right here. So transactional stuff. How do I find the deals that I want to do in transactions? So this is, all right, I'm ramping up my transactional stuff. I don't own them yet, right? I mean, creative acquisition, I understand how I can do without money or credit. But what do you need? Now, what's the next step here? Hang on a second. Let me do the next thing. So transactional stuff you're going to learn how to do inside the essentials as well. So 5, control. Now you need control. Oh, you know what? I do want to step back into transaction for one minute. Inside your transactional stuff, I'm going to get into the AITs for a second here. What do I need to know inside my AITs? Now I'll show you. You got your essentials, which is your freshman, sophomore level classes that we've talked about. That are the $1,997 that Jaleesa alluded to. Then you have your AITs. And inside your AITs, you're going to start getting your majors. Do you want to do buy and hold? Do you want to do fix and flip? Do you want to do short sales and foreclosures? Do you want to do multifamilies? Do you want to do note tax liens? Do you want to do commercial? Now your answer might be, I don't know. That's a good answer, because sometimes you don't understand what's entailed because you don't know what's going on. The nice thing about these classes is I got everything. I got the extreme combo. There was nothing I couldn't take. And I think that's important because if you get down to the bonus track, inside of the transactional classes, it's a little dark here, and this middle class here is called negotiations. One of the keys, and this only comes with the extreme. It's not in the essentials, right? One of the reasons I am so good at getting good deals and having conversations with people about money is because of my negotiations class. Inside the negotiations class, which is in the bonus track, I learned how to listen to sentences as equations. I learned how to read body language. I learned how to read facial expressions. I learned how to read vocal inflections, right? I learned how to stop conversations and start conversations using tools that they taught me how to use. Questions, extreme statements, right? So in this negotiations class, is part of that transactional stuff, because you don't have a property under contract unless you negotiate it. Does that make sense? So that is super duper as far as transactional. Now you see the financial strategies. Obviously that belongs in strategic stuff. This is a bonus track. This is the stuff that people only get with the extreme here. Okay, the advanced accelerated mortgage will teach you how to pay off properties after properties using I'm talking about investment properties. Raising funds in partnerships. That's part of the transactional stuff, right? So if I don't have funds, I can't control properties, okay? Which brings me to my next step here. All right, watch this. Controlling properties. Now, do you need money or credit to control properties? No. You are going to take creative acquisitions for that. You are going to take your wholesaling class for that. Okay, so this is zero money and zero credit. These are the 0 zeros. You're going to learn how to do real estate creatively, acquiring it and wholesaling it without ever having a dime. Okay? However, you're going to make, I'll tell you what you make wholesaling properties. You're going to make 4 figures wholesaling properties. So you're going to make anywhere the thousands. You're not going to make 5 figures wholesaling properties unless it's a huge deal. Okay? So you don't want to do illegal flips. Let me show you something. Let me show you the classes you're going to take here. So if you're going to wholesale properties, which is your first level of real estate investing, wholesaling properties, you're going to go to your fix and flip classes. You're going to need to take your fix and flip classes and take the wholesaling class. They're going to teach you from start to finish how a deal works, what kind of contracts you're going to need, what are you going to need your contracts to say in order for it to work without using money or credit, how do you build a buyer's list. Right, for what kind of conversation do you have with buyers list? What do you need? What kind of information do you have to get from that buyers list so that you're not wasting time on properties? All this kind of stuff. Cool? But anything beyond that is going to start using private hard money. So your private hard money class and your raising funds and partnership class right here will help you start accumulating the money. And it's kind of funny because if I wouldn't have accumulated dime number 1 had I not taken my essentials on self-direction. Because when I started having higher level, when I started sounding like the most informed person in the room, everybody started gravitating to me with their money. It was really eerie. Even on the tax, and when I started talking about taxes, they're like, well, I don't like paying taxes. Like, give me some advice, Scott Rowe. So my sophistication went up. I went from being a caveman to having a sophisticated conversation, even though I couldn't have it before the classes. Cool? Okay, so you're going to learn, so you know, your transactional stuff, your controlling of properties will be wholesaling. Then your next level is fix and flip. Then your next level is buy and hold. When you're done chasing properties around, then you're going to have renters chasing you. Okay? So you're going to take your buy and hold 1, your buy and hold 2, your subject to properties. There is a way to control rental properties without using money or credit. That's in the subject to realm. In fact, I could actually become a money lender without having money or credit because of the classes that I've taken. It's crazy. And I've done it. I've actually had notes on properties where I had credit partners and money partners. I controlled half the property. They controlled 25% of the property. I was the guy making most of the money, and I was the bank on the property, right? And I had no money or credit into it. It's been fantastic. Where do you get that? You get that in your notes, tax liens, and deeds. So if you want to deal with notes, tax liens, and deeds, you want to deal with just paper, you want to acquire property just with paper, tax liens, you want to control notes. We have lots of community members that are so done doing real estate. They're like, I'm done with tenants, I'm done with contractors, I'm done with management fees and managers. I just want to do notes. I just want to collect money on the paper. Fantastic. You can learn how to do that right here, which means that you're going to move through strategies. You're going to evolve as a real estate investor, and you're never going to need to leave this education. It's always going to be there for you, right? So I had lifetime access. So when I was ready to do my first fix and flip, I didn't have to go buy a course. I just got into my back office, right? When I was ready to do my first buy and hold, I didn't have to go buy a course and sit in a 3-day seminar. I just checked in on my classes. Right? When I was ready to do my first note, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the bank on this one, so let me take these classes. So the classes were always there waiting for me to take. I wasn't under pressure. There was no like, you better take your class or it's going to shut off. That never happened for me. And that's one of the things I love about Renatus. In fact, when they added the commercial track last year, they didn't even ask me for a dime. So if you want to get into strip malls, corporate complexes, or owning commercial properties, then you get into this track right here. And when they introduced this to Renatus, when they put it up there, they didn't ask me for a dime. Even though it cost them money to create, they didn't come back and say, Scott, now we need $5,000 extra because we put all this together. No, they just showed up in my back office. It was pretty incredible. Cool. So there you go. So now that's, let's go with, and the last thing is, hang on a second. The last thing is, so you're going to control properties through creative acquisitions, wholesaling. You're going to learn how to, these are the payoffs. So number 6 is your exit and your payoffs. You got to learn how to do that, right? And you are going to learn how to exit in wholesaling. You are, without using money or credit. You are going to learn how to do fix and flips, right? When you start having money thrown at you because your classes, then you're going to start doing fix and flips. If a wholesale deal doesn't work out, you can move it into fix and flip. If the fix and flip doesn't work out, like you didn't sell it, you can move into buy and hold. After a year of seizing the person that's in the property, they wanted to buy it in the first place, so then you can move into notes. You could actually become the bank on that. So there is a way to move from wholesaling to fix and flip to buy and hold down to money lending on the same property. And I have done all these strategies on one address without using any of my money or any of my credit because I knew enough. Because people were throwing money at me, they're like, hey, I heard you worked well with this guy's money, Uncle Joe. What about me? Can we do something together? Can you pull me in? I'm like, absolutely, Uncle Charlie. Cool. So right there. So this is how it's going to work. You're going to get tax mitigation first. You're going to get into financial literacy. You're going to learn more. You're going to sound more sophisticated. Your strategic planning is going to be there. Your transactional stuff, learning exactly why the stuff moves through a conveyor belt to closing. Your controlling of properties will happen, even if it's creative, and your exiting will happen. You're going to learn how to exit properties with using money and not using money. Today, I don't have to worry about much in money because I make a lot. Right? But I didn't start that way, right? So we all start, I was broke and unemployed. I needed to learn how to do properties without using money. Today, it's a lot easier because I got plenty of money, right? And that's just 5 years in. Okay, so one other thing I want to show you. The AITs, okay, so real estate forms. All the forms, one of the things I hear people worry about, they're like, well, is everything provided with Renatus? Yes. You have all your checklist and your data gathering stuff is all right here in a vault, right? All you got to do is download them in your computer. You can take them to your attorneys and check out stuff for your state. This is all your contracts, deeds, agreements, and addendas are all here already. So congratulations, that's the vault right there. You got your sample letters you might have to send out for foreclosure or buyers or sellers, right? Or money. Okay, so it's all there. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to make anything up. It's all right there. The framework is already built. What you get to grow up, you're going to be a vine. And you see, the Renatus is the framework, and you get to be the vine coming out of the ground and just taking over that framework and becoming somebody different. It's pretty cool. All right, so let me just quickly go over the AITs, and I'll go over the prices and coaching, and we'll go from here. Okay, so here is your AIT majors. Your buy and hold is all built inside of one major, right? Your fix and flip is built inside of all one major. Now, but in fix and flip, you're getting wholesaling, auctions, buy and hold. Not buy and hold, fix and flip 1 and 2. In your buy and hold classes, you are getting lease options, you're getting subject to purchases, so everything that has to do with hanging on to properties and grabbing rents. Short sales, if you want to help people out of foreclosure, if you'd like to be like the foreclosure hero, right, and get paid to do it, you can do that. Multifamilies, if you're interested in doing multifamily buildings, I have a 22-unit building and 2 6-unit buildings right now. Notes, tax liens, and deeds. If you're interested in being the bank, you want to shed all the headaches of real estate, you just want to do paper. Commercial real estate's in there, and then you got your bonus track. So there's actually 6 tracks. 5 of them are majors. 1 of them is just a bunch of stuff that you could really use well. Okay, now I'm going to go to the PowerPoint. So does that help? So this is what we're going to help you do. So this education is going to move you through tax mitigation first. Next week, you're going to change all your taxes. Your financial literacy is going to go up. You're going to sound smarter. You're going to start strategically planning. And when you're strategically planning, people are going to come and say, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. I heard you're doing some crazy stuff that I never thought about doing. Can I play with you? It's pretty cool. Your transactional stuff, you're going to learn how the transactions work and how you can actually deal in business with people and real estate. And then your control of the properties once the deal is ready to go. How do I control it? What do I got to do to own it, control it, have it start? Then you're going to have your exit and payoff. So that's what this is designed to get you through. It's a curriculum, not a seminar. All right? Okay, hopefully that helps out. Was that good? That was the first time I ever did that. I don't know. I mean, you guys give me some feedback. Let me just see if anybody's left. All right. Okay, so watch this. Now I'm going to get into the PowerPoint. I'm just going to pick up Mikey's PowerPoint here. Hang on a second. Mike Adams. And it's 11:05, so it didn't take me that long. I'm just going to fly through this. You shouldn't have many questions after that. Okay, so the essentials is $1,997. That's your basic stuff I talked about, right? The AITs, okay, these are the 10 classes. I'm going to do, that's how they look. I've been showing you that. 10 powerful classes. Great, great, great. How come your PowerPoint's lagging? Okay, this is how it looks when you take the class. Group coaching. All right, with the essentials, you're going to get group coaching as well. So not only do you get all the amazing stuff I just talked about, but you're going to be able to access the coaching crew on Tuesday evenings. So every Tuesday evening, if for some reason, and this is Renata's coaching, right? Like every Tuesday for life, you can get on, and this is going to help you for life because you're going to go from wholesaling to fix and flip. You have new questions. You're going to go from fix and flip to buy and hold to have new questions. Buy and hold to money lending, you have new questions. Right? So the coaching is going to move with you. Like you're always, like you're like, well, how long do I get coaching? Life. You get it for life. You get to, and it's included. Like I know what you're thinking. Probably the same thing. Like, how can they afford to give it to me for life? I don't get it. To be honest with you, all the other groups out there that are guru guys, they're overcharging because it doesn't take very much money to have online stuff going on. Right? I know because I do it. So those guys are raking it in and getting on their yachts afterwards. After you buy their stuff from Dan Merrill and those guys, they're raking it in and they get on their yachts. Right? The guy that created this is a Mormon elder that believes in people. I don't care how you feel about the Mormon religion. I'm just glad he thinks about people instead of himself. That's all I got to say. So the group coaching you're going to get for life, you can always come back and ask a question anytime you want. You don't have to go to the coaching, but you can. Cool? All right. Now, that's the education there. Okay, live help. Let's talk about this for a second. So Renatus is going to provide group coaching. They're also going to give you a one-on-one coach if you get the extreme package. If you have the same package that I have, Mike has, Jaleesa has, then you're going to get a one-on-one coach that can help you out when you're ready for that one-on-one personal attention. Okay, you can go to the live classes in Utah when they have them. They're going to start doing every 60 days. They've done them every quarter. Now they're going to start doing every 60 days because they want to make sure that the education is so fresh that you don't have anything you're missing. So every 60 days, you can travel on campus and take classes for a week. You can also watch them streaming live while they're going on. So that doesn't charge. There's no charge for that. Does that make sense? You can go there. We're not going to be like, well, pay us. No, that doesn't happen with Renatus, okay? Okay, the local teams. This is why we're opening offices around the country. We have workshops every single month happening in cities all over the country. But if you don't have anything going on in your city right now, you can play in Chicago. We have cameras in the ceilings. You can participate by chatting in. So we do have monthly workshops where we ship the instructors in front of you. That is happening in cities all over the country. I don't know if it's happening in your city yet. This is why I'm opening locations. Okay, weekly study groups. We also have weekly study groups where the students are actually moving through the education together as colleagues and then partnering up. There's so many partnerships here in Chicago because eventually you'll go on your own. I don't need any partners. Even though I'm partnered up in every single building I have, I don't need them anymore, right? But I do partner with students who bring me a deal. They're like, hey, you brought me the deal. Let's partner up on it. Hey, you're going to go check out the deal let's partner up on it. So I partner up because somebody brings resources to me. But the study groups are where you're going to find your partners. Even if you're long distance, you can play in the study groups. Okay? And then every single morning, this is the last thing I'm going to cover. Every single morning, I can't say that I am because I'm traveling a lot. Most of the time, I do 90% of the webinars. We have been doing a morning webinar Monday through Thursday since 2008, every morning. Cool? Because, and what we focus on there is getting you paid the $1,000 to $10,000 like Mike is about to talk about. So if you're interested in making $1,000 to $10,000 starting next week, then you're going to stick around for what Mike's got to talk about. He's amazing at showing it off. But we're going to be there every morning for you. Every morning we're going to be there answering questions about that. So we can get that blood pumping. That blood pumping is cash flow. All right, guys. Here's the prices. So let's talk about the prices. 52% of the people get the extreme combo. That's $19,994. And I know what you're thinking. Boy, that's the price of a car. Yeah, they have to pay for the campus, and so there's always a cost in somebody putting something together, a car or education. However, you have guaranteed financing. I can tell you this: if there was no financing available, the guy that's running the webinar with all the properties wouldn't be here today. I was broke and unemployed. I had just pawned a watch to catch up on some bills. That's how bad I was. So, but 5 days later, because of the financing options that Jaleesa went over, I had my extreme combo. My third month, I had my first house under contract. But within 3 months, I already made $50,000 on the enrolling side, too. So I had nothing better to do than work at this. I don't know what your life looks like. Okay, so the extreme combination tuition is the essentials is $1,997 plus the $17,997. It's $1,994. It is lifetime access. It's like an all access pass to Disneyland. All right, if you're like, wow, I just want 2 tracks. If you just want 2 AIT tracks or 2 majors, you can pick any 2 you want. And I would suggest fix and flip and buy and hold to begin with. $5,997 for the 2 majors. Those 2 majors will shut off in 12 months. So that gives you a chance to get another 2 majors or 12 months after, then another 2 majors 12 months after. That would be all 6 of them. But my suggestion is just upgrade. You can upgrade within your 12-month redemption to get into this and just pay the difference, okay? And the essentials, we have people who start the essentials like, well, can I just start with the essentials? Yeah, absolutely. You'll have it for life. And whenever you're ready to move into the other programs, you just let us know. Cool? All right, I'm ready to take some questions. If for some reason you have no questions, just type in NQ. If you have some questions after what I've gone over, please type it in. Can I share this with my partner? You get a person for free, so it actually includes 2 people. So this education is for 2 people, and you can designate the tuition partner anytime you want, right? Like you don't have to do it right away. And like I haven't found anybody worthy yet. You can wait. May have Q later. I don't know. We're almost done. So, I mean, on education, if you got any Qs now about education, ask it now. God bless this company. God bless this company. Absolutely, I'm in. So can we start on essentials and upgrade within 12 months? Actually, if you start with the essentials, you can upgrade any time. Make sense? The only time you're under pressure for the 12-month upgrade is if you get the 2 vocational tracks here. So if you get the 2 vocational tracks, those will shut off in 12 months, and you'd have to rebuy all over again. So if you can actually upgrade from the $5,997 into the $17,997 in 12 months, that's the only pressure you're under. You can upgrade years later from the essentials. I've had people do that. So Gigi, you can upgrade any time in life from the essentials. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, I'm still here, and we got to move. I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes to punch in any question you want. No pressure, because we got to get out of the. We got to get Mike back out here for the enrolling stuff, and I have taken up time here. I got to figure out how to get this shorter. I'm not the man. I was a broke man at one point. I'm just a man. I'm a lucky man. That's what I am. I'm lucky that my wife dragged me down here because I came down here thinking this was a scam. She came down to the meeting first. I told her I am not going down to that scam meeting. That's what I said. So my wife goes down the meeting and she comes back. She goes, if you don't want to be divorced, you have to go to the next meeting. I'm like, fine. So I was like a little kid in the meeting. I thought this was a scam. So I'm not even the smartest guy in this room, to be honest with you. I'm just luckiest. Here's what the essentials will do. The essentials will actually have you keep your money. So you're going to the most important thing you're going to do right away is your tax structures. You're wasting money in the government. And you're going to make money on the marketing side. You can put properties under contract, but you're really not going to get your exit strategies inside the essentials. You're going to need to get at least your fix and flip. Cool. So that's all I'm saying. You can make money. You can start making money this week, even with the essentials, folks. I am a blessed man, that's for sure. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I'm not better than anybody on this line here. I'm actually, in fact, I'm probably worse than a lot of people on this line. I'm probably the most flawed person on this webinar. Okay. All right, guys. All right, so Mike, I'm gonna pass it back to you, buddy. I apologize for taking so much time. Do we need any type of licensing before making money on transactions? No. I have no licenses except the driver's license. Cool. And you don't even need that. All right, I'm gonna hand it back to Mike Adams. Listen, let me tell you about Mike. Oh, let me show you something. Let me share my screen real quick. Let me show you what I've made in case you guys haven't seen it. Renatus has paid me pretty good too. So not only do I have all those properties that you saw, but I'll quickly show my commissions off just so that it kind of slides right into the next section. So my wife and I, this is what we're about to get paid this week, right? So we're about to get about, let me see, I'm going to get about 10 G's this week, all right? But they have paid me $1.8 million in the last 5 years, 6 months. The last 5 years, 6 months, and 1 day. They have paid us in enrollments. In the referring side, they paid us $1.8 million. They've actually paid us $126,000 in the last 9 weeks. They pay us every Tuesday and Friday. So we get paid on the 26th, then 3 days later, then 4 days later, then 3 days later. So I would definitely pay attention to Mike because unless you're so rich, you don't need any cash flow. Right? If that's the case, then see you later. But I would definitely pay attention to Mike. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Mike, take it away.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you so much. Scott, the man, the myth, the legend. Now you guys know why. So thank you so much. That was awesome on the education, brother. Fantastic. So if you're all done with the webinar, because the next step here is we're going to cover the marketing compensation plan. So if you're here purely for the real estate, okay, this will be your time to go ahead and take off from the webinar and come over here to QAforum.com. And again, let us know that you want to be contacted. Go ahead and fill this puppy out, name, email, cell phone, the name of the person that referred you here. And again, of course, if you're leaving right now, let us know that you're only interested in doing real estate with this group. And just understand that that's totally fine. Most people that find our group are purely just here for the real estate, not necessarily for the marketing element. So that's totally cool. So if you just want to do real estate, select that. Let us know which education level that you are considering getting started with, or if you still have questions. And then from there, guys, the funding options, the best time to contact you, and then, of course, your time zone, and then click the magic submit button. Don't forget that. Click the button. And from there, this form will come to us in real time, and then the staffer will reach out to you to answer any leftover questions. So, again, if you're taking off, guys, go ahead and go to QAforum.com and fill this form out.